ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ವಿದ್ಯಾಪೀಠ ವಿಧಾತಾರಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾವಾರಿಧಿ ಚಂದಿರಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿವತ್ಸಲಂ ವಂದೇ ಮಹಾಮಹಿಮ ಸದ್ಗುರು. ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. In the previous part, we got to know about the communication between Madhwacharya and Lord Vedavyasa in the sacred ashrama of Badri. Finally, Madhwacharya, he had to take leave of the Lord after completing his studies under the holy feet of Lord Vedavyasa. Unwillingly, Madhwacharya had to take the leave of the Lord in order to accomplish the mission which was given by Vedavyasa. Madhwacharya, he knew that once he takes the leave of the Lord, he couldn't have the physical view of the Lord again. So, from head to toe, Madhwacharya again and again, he looked affectionately towards the smiling and charming face of the Lord, so that he can remember the Lord's glories whenever he wants to, again and again. He fell at the lotus feet of Lord Vedavyasa with full grace, and finally he took leave of the Lord. We must remember here, Madhwacharya, who was the incarnate of Lord Vayudeva itself, he was an aparoksha jnani. He did not bear the pain, he need not bear the pain of separation from the Lord. But all this was just simply shown to us because he took birth of a human, and we all know the saying, in Rome be a Roman. The same way, when Madhwacharya, he was born as a human, then he need to follow the duties of a human being. So, descending from mountains, Madhwacharya, so quickly he returned back to Anantamatha at Lower Badri. We all know jumping from hill to hill is not at all difficult for a veritable Vanarendra, because Madhwacharya is an incarnate of Vayudeva. Vayudeva is in one of his avatars, he was Lord Hanuman itself. So, the disciples, they were very much astonished first, because how could someone, they descend the mountain so easily, but later they were at the same time very much happy upon the return of their Guru. See, when a family member, if he arrives after so much time by completing a very meritorious mission, how would the other family members feel? The same way, the disciples were also, they were very much happy upon the arrival of their Guru. They also couldn't bear the separation from their Guru for such a long period of time. Camping at Anantamatha, Madhwacharya, he did not waste even a second of time. He immediately started composing the Sutra Bhashya as ordained by Lord Vedavyasa. Now, let us get to know exactly what is a sutra and what is a bhashya precisely, and what is the difference between sutra and bhashya. We all know Vedas, they are the central source of knowledge. They explain the Paramatma Tattva and Jivatma Tattva very precisely. Paramatma Tattva and Jivatma Tattva in the sense, the Tattva meaning the true knowledge of the Lord and the human being. Every word of this Veda signifies the importance of the Lord Vishnu, the Lord Sri Hari, and by knowing each and every word, each and every alphabet, each and every syllable, we lead towards the perfection, in turn towards the salvation. But these Vedas, these Vedic expressions they are so vast and so endless that some of them, they appear slightly self-contradictory to us, not to the Devatas and the other Suras. So, in order to remove these slight confusions from our minds, Lord Vedavyasa, he composed 564 sutras which explains the essence of Vedas. Why did he compose all these 564 sutras? In order to provide a decisive and a clear-cut meaning to the Vedas. So, what is this sutra? This sutra is more or less a short sentence. I mean a sentence in the sense a group of certain words, few words, which is actually a technical sentence, and it acts as a memorial rule. These are known as Brahma Sutras, which start and end with the holy Omkaras. To these sutras, Madhwacharya had to compose Bhashya. Bhashya in the sense the meaning, the commentary. The first and foremost duty of Madhwacharya was to compose Bhashyas to these sutras. Already previously Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya and many others, they have already composed Bhashyas to these sutras written by Lord Vedavyasa. But certain bhashyas composed by the other philosophers, they showed contradictory meanings, due to which the minds of the people, they were completely disturbed and they were completely confused. So Madhwacharya, he composed bhashya, one and only bhashya, which proves that the Vedanta, which is distilled in the minds of the people, it acts as a pure essence. He quoted many examples from Shrutis, Smritis, Puranas and epics, and the Bhashyas written by Madhwacharya, it gave us a very clear-cut meaning to the sutras written by Lord Vedavyasa. So finally, a bhashya is a commentary which is written to a sutra, which explains the sutra word by word, syllable by syllable, and it also explains by using the technical words used in a sutra. So at Lower Badri Anantamatha, Madhwacharya composed the bhashyas to these sutras, and at the same time he chose his disciple Satyatirtha in order to pen down all these bhashyas composed by Madhwacharya. Satyatirtha did this job with great humility and enthusiasm. He did it with great conviction, because noting down even a single syllable of this sacred work would fetch us the merit of ultimate salvation. Knowing this punya, Satyatirtha did it with very much conviction and uttermost bhakti, which later it fetched him with great merits of salvation. On completing this sacred bhashya and translation of this bhashya and penning down by Satyatirtha, Madhwacharya continued his sanchara towards the south. Slowly he arrived on the banks of Godavari, and that time Godavari was considered as a great center of learning. There the annual meet of Pandits of high merits was already in session. The Pandits, they were very much well versed in all the 18 Puranas. They already had known about Madhwacharya's composition of these bhashyas to the Brahma Sutras. So in order to test Madhwacharya's knowledge, they tried in many ways possible, but Madhwacharya, with his supernatural powers, with his knowledgeable skills, he defeated all those Pandits very easily. Not only well versed in 18 Puranas, they were very much well versed even in all the 6 Shastras, the Mimamsa, Bhatta, Prabhakara, Vaisheshika, Nyayika, Bauddha, Charvaka. In all these Shastras, they were very much well versed. They were stalwarts in all these philosophies. Convincingly, Madhwacharya proved to them individually that from all these Shastras, our Madhva philosophy is the only one which stood still. Madhwacharya easily convinced them, and all they themselves admitted the fallacies which were inherent there in their respective philosophies, in their respective systems. The chief Pandits of the assembly, they couldn't do anything. They simply accepted defeat, and they all went to their guru Shobhana Bhatta. Shobhana Bhatta was like a crest jewel in the logicians. He was a great Vedic scholar. He was a great stalwart in all the philosophies. So Shobhana Bhatta, upon knowing the defeat of their Pandits, he came to conquer Madhwacharya. He tried to defeat Madhwacharya's knowledgeable skills. Finally, it so happened the what technique Shobhana Bhatta used to defeat Madhwacharya, in the same technique in itself, he became his disciple. He learnt Acharya's Sutra Bhashyas. From then on, he understood Madhwacharya's greatness. He fell on the feet of Madhwacharya. He accepted the defeat of his philosophy and accepted our Madhva philosophy, and from then on he became his favorite disciple, and he started preaching our Madhva philosophy from then on by giving many discourses. Here, Shobhana Bhatta, we should remember this name very carefully. He was the person who later came to be known as Padmanabha Tirtha, and he was crowned as a successor to the throne of the great Uttaradhimat Parampara. Shobhana Bhatta, in one of his discourses, he tried to preach our Madhva philosophy by quoting a small example. Once there was a lime maker who, what was his duty? His duty was just to collect the lime shells and sell it so that he could make some money out of it. Once he collected a group of shells, and in that one shell seemed to be very hard to him. He thought it wouldn't be of any use to him, simply threw it away. A passerby, he noticed the lime shell. He noticed it something very familiar. He went towards it and he noticed it keenly, and to his surprise, the lime shell was a Balamuri Shankha. What is a Balamuri Shankha? Usually Shankha, the lime shells, its face, its opening would be towards the left. But this Shankha has its face turned towards the right, which means this Shankha was very rare, and it wasn't easily available. The passerby, he knew the value of this Shankha, so he immediately took it to the king, and he sold it to the king. He sold it to the king to make a lump sum amount of money. The king, when he saw the Shankha, immediately he knew the value of this Shankha. He took it. He gave the passerby a stipulated sum of money, and he immediately he cleansed it with holy water, performed abhisheka, and soon placed the Shankha as a symbol of worship, and he worshipped it daily. In few days, very soon, the king became the king of the kings. His name, his fame spread all over the country, and his success was always waiting at his door. Concluding this story, Shobhana Bhatta tried to explain us the moral of this story. The lime maker, when we start from the beginning, the lime maker, he was very much foolish. As he had no taste, here the Balamuri Shankha, we take it as a symbol of our Madhva Shastra. The lime maker, he was very much foolish. He didn't know the value of our Shastra. He simply threw it away. So he didn't gain any benefit from it. The passerby, he knew he had a certain knowledge of it, only a little bit. So he gave it to the king and he got some amount in exchange. So the Bhagya Daiva, the luck followed him to the extent he deserved. He had small knowledge about the Shankha. The same way, the one who tries to know our Madhva Shastra a little bit, he gets a small amount of benefit from it. We get the fruit from it, but only up to the proportion of our inner intensity, what we call it as our Yogyata. The king, he adored the divine object in the way it should be adored. He knew the value, so he worshipped the Balamuri Shankha. The same way, if we take Madhva Shastra in accordance, we must learn it, we must keep it into practice, and then the king here is compared to the noble and sacred man who tries to learn our Madhva Shastra, who fills in the minds the entire philosophy or Madhva Shastra, and the material benefits here is showered to the person without any limit, even though unasked. The passerby, he asked for some amount of money, he got only that much. But here the king, without asking anything, without expecting anything. He simply did his duty. So if we noble people, if we learn Madhva Shastra, if we be in the path of our philosophy without expecting anything, then the material benefits will automatically shower upon us, even though unasked. In this way, Shobhana Bhatta impressively brought many audience together, and he tried to explain our Madhva philosophies to the minds of the people according to their capacity, by imbibing very logical examples. This way, we must remember that Madhva Shastra is truly a Kalpavruksha, which gives us whatever we ask for. Accompanied by Shobhana Bhatta and other disciples, Madhwacharya went towards the south, and later they went to Udupi and took darshan of Lord Ananteshwara, and went to after taking the darshan of the Lord Ananteshwara, they went to take darshan of the Lord of their Guru Achyuta Preksha Tirtha. Achyuta Preksha Tirtha was very much happy upon the arrival of his disciple. He also couldn't bear the separation from his disciple. Achyuta Preksha Tirtha already knew about his disciple's composition of the bhashyas to the sutras. At once, he couldn't accept it. He couldn't react easily. In fact, he required very much time and discussion, and finally got convinced that our Madhva philosophy is the one and only one. This was because his mind was ingrained by the misreading of sutras composed by other philosophies since his childhood days. See, a doctor, first he would locate the root of the disease, then he would try to cure it. The same way, Madhwacharya, first he knew that the mind of Achyuta Preksha Tirtha, it was slightly inculcated with Kali in his mind. So he found out that his Guru's tastelessness towards his Shastra was due to the influence of Kali in his mind slightly. So first he removed all this Mula dosha from his mind, and later it was gone, and the mind, Achyuta Preksha Tirtha's mind, was completely free of all the misconceptions regarding the other philosophies, and he could take our Shastra with very clearly and cleanly. Achyuta Preksha Tirtha's face now shone with a new glow of inner joy, brought about by the knowledge of our Madhva philosophy. Apart from this, even the Mudra Dharana to the disciples, how it is done, what is the importance of Mudra Dharana, the establishment of the Lord Krishna temple, and Madhwacharya's second trip to Badri, all these are explained in this 9th Sarga. Let us all know about this in the next coming part. Thank you. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.